just like everyone who visits Egypt for the first time, we visited the pyramids and the Sphinx. Here you can see how trying to take a picture of her kissing the Sphinx doesn't look as good as the actual Instagram picture. Here is a video of us really close to the largest pyramid, the Pyramid of Giza. You got Nia, T, and How trying to take some pictures.
What? Oh shit. What the? Can I take a picture? I just straight up want to take a picture.
And of course, we had to go on a camel ride.
Go this way? Woo! Huh? I feel alright.
And then there is How getting on the camel.
Okay? Put your foot and then hold on. Hold tight. You're good, you're good.
The best part of the camel ride was the panoramic view of the pyramids. Just look how beautiful that is. Nia, T, and I even climbed part of the Giza pyramid, which honestly wasn't as great as I imagined, but here's a little clip of us climbing. After a long day of visiting the pyramids, we went on the search for food on our Uber. Here's some footage of the streets of Cairo. The tombs were definitely one of my favorite parts of the trip. Here you can see a bunch of hieroglyphics. Oh, and I forgot to mention, GoPros were not allowed. For some reason, we could use our phones though. So, sorry for the bad quality coming up. Airbnb host had the day off, so he drove us around a bunch of ancient Egyptian sites. At this point, How and T decided to stay home. They were too tired, but Nia and I powered on. For some reason, the people who worked at all these different sites always wanted to show us places and things that were blocked off. Every time we decided to give in, the thing or place was always mediocre, and they would always usually ask for a tip. Here's an example. sadly, a lot of these sites were vandalized over the years, so you end up with these statues that are headless or bodiless. And another blocked off spot. Believe it or not, we even saw some vandalism from 1890. Pretty crazy. After Luxor, we went to Aswan. We stayed in an island, and here we're crossing over the Nile River to get to the island. This is me walking around the island. There are no cars or vehicles allowed. And this kid almost crashed into me. The next day we went to Abu Simbel. This was definitely one of my favorites. Oh my god, yes. We then went inside the temple. Pretty cool. Then we went inside this temple. The following day, we headed back to Cairo to get our COVID test. This would allow us to go back home. To kill time, I explored other pyramids in Cairo. I was being cheap, so I had to walk to a lot of the sites. I think it took me a total of 2 hours walking. I seriously don't recommend this. I felt pretty awful for the next 2 days. My wife and her friends were pretty exhausted at this point too, so this was all solo. This is what the road looked like up to the pyramids. You can see it was just pretty boring. Once I got to the pyramids, I purchased an add-on ticket of some sort. This allowed me to visit some of the tombs in the area. I had to follow around this guy who opened up the tombs. He called himself a guardian of the area. Surprisingly, this man has actually spent most of his life living in the area and has worked here in the pyramids for decades. He was super interesting and actually very kind. was one of my favorite things that I did in Egypt, climbing inside of a pyramid. Our last day was spent in this sketchy hotel. What was funny was that we had to use this old-timey vandalized elevator. We then ate some food, talked about our trip. My wife, Hal, Nia, and T bargained for souvenirs for a few hours in the bazaar.